Hello internet people, it's Bath Doge, and for today I've decided to use my microphone. The reason for that is generally I want to put a bit more character to my YouTube channel, a bit more flavor, and I'm hoping it'll fit nicely with the ARG type of video. As a quick disclaimer I would like to mention is that this video is intended for edutainment purposes, and all the credit should go to the original ARG creator who really worked his butt out of this series, because one thing I gotta say is that I got a lot of spooks from his videos, and I haven't seen a good ARG in a long time, so honestly guys, you should check out his YouTube channel, give him a like, give him a subscribe, and let's get into the video. Oh yeah, another thing I would like to mention guys is that this is my first time doing this ARG type of video, so any type of criticism is welcomed. I'll be reading the comments and hopefully you guys can point out all the mistakes I've done or anything that I need to improve on. Alright, so the first video uploaded to the Some Things Wrong With My Gmod is the video called Weird Gmod Ragdoll Glitch. This should be the introduction video to the ARG, and it sounds ominous enough as it is, but then again the whole channel sounds ominous. So hopefully this video is interesting.
Don't you find it all rather fascinating? Of course not.
Okay, so just for simplification purposes, I will call the main character and the channel itself Swag. Swag standing for Something's Wrong Gmod. And from what we can see here on the first video is that Swag decides to show us a before and after photo of his Gmod model posing, where it appears that the Einstein scientist model has disappeared. Swag indicates this frantically by pointing his physics gun, looking around the place for the missing scientist, but to no avail, he does not find him. Afterwards, he pans towards the elevator and states in the video that it's supposed to be down because he took it earlier, but it seems like somebody else has used the elevator. And finally, after looking around the elevator room, he gets jump scared by the missing Einstein scientist. So I think it's too early to give my idea of what's going on since this is the first video on Swag's channel. But one thing I'll keep note of it is that the scientist model, behaves like a player model. You know how he has that crowbar and he decides to attack Swag as a, as like any type of multiplayer lobby to say. In addition, Swag says in his video description that he simply went to get water and the scientist model disappeared, which has happened to him on 2 separate occasions before with the model ending up in random places. That's pretty interesting, but let's continue to the next video. Now, this one is a short video with only 43 seconds. From what I read in the description, Swag states that he only wanted to make a type of tutorial video on posing ragdolls and whatnot. But at the end of the video, as we can see, the ragdoll decided to take a mind of its own, which gave me a little bit of a spook. This is an interesting touch Swag gave to the video, and kind of reminds me of those days where people would see Hero Brian and they would like frantically quit Minecraft as soon as they see him, which Swag instantly click the quit button. Alright, so I guess we will be moving on to the next video. Alright, so that was interesting. From what we can gather here is that when Swag was messing around on Gmod, from the looks of it, he was trying to build something with a Dr. Kleiner NPC. He added some props around, and then he decided to go to his menu and disable NPC thinking, which all of a sudden made the Kleiner NPC run towards the dark abyss and disappear. Curious about this, Swag decides to investigate where the Dr. Kleiner NPC went, and while he is searching for him, he finds that there is a hidden pathway on one of the walls of the dark room, which is breakable. He breaks it open with his crowbar and finds a Stanley Parable-esque hallway that leads to a different dark hallway with a bloody, torn up room on the left side of it, which I think this room represents something important that I'll point out in the conclusion of the video. But afterwards, Swag proceeds into the dark hallway and he finds a fenced area with a door behind it, which is inaccessible. Then going into the dark hallway, he gets jump scared by the disembodied head of the Einstein scientist. Well, it seems that this type of rogue NPC / player model is able to manipulate Gmod maps, and from the looks of it, add new additions to them and basically manipulate any other NPCs like the Dr. Kleiner NPC, which is very interesting. But aside from that, let's continue to the next video.
Everybody keep moving!
Move!
Kill him!
Tell me, where did we go so wrong?
Yes!
Peace off, big head! One sniper to another, mate! Peace off!
Here goes!
Sometimes I dream about cheese.
More rubble, less trouble! Where is your doctor, coward?
Here goes! Everybody keep moving!
Kept you waiting, huh?
Yeah! If I ever get my hands on Dr. Breen...
Know what you mean? I don't feel anything anymore. Someday, this will all be a bad memory. I'm not even gonna tell you to shut up. Can we talk about this later?
Never, never make me angry.
Is there a point to your lives? Move the gear up! Schnell!
If I have to crack some skulls, I will.
What the hell is your guy's problem?
Gotta be damn hungry to wait in line for this crap.
Okay, guys, that was a bit of a long break, wasn't it? Hopefully you guys weren't waiting for too long. But anyway, so what happened on Swag's video is basically a radio fell from the sky and it started playing a bunch of Morse code. Now, we're fortunate enough where the top commenters deciphered this Morse code, and currently I'll display what it says, which is very interesting. One key observation is that once Swag turns around for the radio and then turns back, the scientist model gets replaced with Einstein, which is quite interesting. I think that symbolizes that Einstein is watching him, and that again it confirms that he's able to manipulate other models, basically any other maps or anything like that. But I think the next video kind of explains stuff, so how about we give it a watch? This is a very interesting video, and we have a lot to unpack here. So at the start of the video, Swag seems to be playing around with some props and the rope tool with the addition of spawning in a zombie, but then he randomly gets killed and respawned in a very, very dark room. He attempts to no-clip out of it to spawn in items, but for some reason that's disabled. Even when he no-clips, he gets swung back. The door next to him seems to be locked, and after observing the room, it seems that he is on the other side of the fenced area, but suddenly the door that he attempted to open randomly starts to knock. This scares Swag, which he reaches for the corner and attempts to open the door next to him, but unfortunately it's locked. Then the door busts open, and this was pretty much a nice spooky part to say. It really made me get some goosebumps and whatnot. But yeah, the door busts open and it turns out that nobody's inside, which from the looks of it, in a fit of rage, Swag throws that poor lamp. Now the locked room that was past the fence area is now unlocked, which Swag enters. Proceeding further, he finds a more maze-like hallway area where he checks all the doors if they're locked or not. Then he stumbles into what looks like a type of apartment. Afterwards, looking around the apartments, he goes up the stairs where all of a sudden, at the corner, he turns to the sight of a disembodied head of Einstein, who starts chasing him. Which Swag panics, activating his flight or fight response, which he throws that chair to block off the door. He barricades himself from the monster that's chasing him, and in the midst of his panic, he runs towards all possible unlocked areas without thinking too much about it, which he ends up in some type of dark tunnel with a strange corpse where when he hits the wall, he gets teleported back to the GM construct. I'd say that was pretty scary how basically he reaches the end and then you see this big head chasing him, no escape, and then all of a sudden he's back to the GM construct area. If we look in his description of this video, Swag apologizes that he's been gone between 6 to 5 months and that 5 minutes after this was recorded, his PC turned off and wouldn't turn back on during that period. And he simply states that he ended up in the secret room again in GM construct. Well, that was a lot in almost a 5-minute video. The only thing I can mention right now is that it seems that the secret room in GM construct is very elaborate maze and that there's a lot of twists and turns. Has a lot of questions, but we'll try to answer those at the conclusion of this video. guacamole. Wasn't that a crazy jump scare? That kind of spooked me a bit. It got me jumping out of my chair when it happened. I like how it built up some type of intensity and then all of a sudden boom, it's at your face. But anyways, it seems that Swag is using that Gmod creativity by creating a trebuchet with simple thrusters and welds until when he was adjusting the trebuchet, he saw something peeking at him at the end of the building. He goes to investigate when all of a sudden a bone-chilling jump scare happens. And then afterwards, from what we can see in the comments, Swag states innocently that he just wanted to send a video of his creation to a friend and that this happened all of a sudden. I just wanted to say another thing just as a quick side note. This jump scare kind of embodies that type of childhood fear around simple sandbox games like Minecraft and now Garry's Mod. That something may be wrong in the background, or that maybe Herobrine will pop out of nowhere. For this case, it's Mr. Einstein.
Big day today, Freeman.
So guys, as it seems, Swag has caught another anomaly in action. It appears that all the normal NPCs that would be in this Half-Life 1 level are replaced with the Einstein scientist. And oddly enough, even where the G-Man is located, the G-Man is not at all located there. Now, I know this is Garry's mod, and some may say in the comments that it's not Half-Life 1, so probably he didn't add it there or anything like that. But from what it seems that he was running some type of level population thing, or I don't know, something where it loads the map, and it's very weird how it's only the Einstein NPCs and no other types of scientists located, or any Barneys even. And then afterwards, he goes to the kitchen, does the classical Half-Life 1 troll where he activates the microwave, sets it on nuke mode, and destroys that poor casserole that one scientist put in there. One thing I can say with this is it confirms my idea that Einstein is stalking him and that he's watching his every move, and basically he gets jump scared by the disembodied head at the end. But aside from that, let's continue to the next video.
Da 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 da. Come sing with me. Da 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 da. How could this happen? Stupid! 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 The medal, it is so tiny. Boo! Help! Who is man enough to stand with me?
Hello. Why, just look at those peculiar markings.
Okay, Swag is getting a bit more curious now with his situation. In his description, he says that he started doing experiments. He's testing around the Einstein model and basically poking around it, see what makes it tick. And in the current video, we see him experimenting between the scientist models where he switches their accessories and skin tones. But at the start of it, it appears that Einstein head model is blocked from being applied to the ragdoll. And then all of a sudden Swag lags out, and when he turns around, the Einstein ragdoll is there. This time he cannot change the accessories or the skin on that ragdoll, which afterwards he deletes the ragdoll. After spawning the NPC variant of the model, everything seems to be normal, even allowing him to change the scientist NPC into the Einstein head. But then when he spawned a second NPC that's preset as Einstein, his recording glitches out and stops. The way I understand it, it seems like this video shows maybe the possible ways Einstein could be summoned, and that he can embody other NPCs, possibly other ragdolls, and maybe at some areas he doesn't have full control. Other than that, let's continue to the next video. Okay, so it seems that the Einstein is like some type of curse that won't leave Swag alone, which apparently in this collage of screenshots, Swag has created an X-Files type of zoom in video where he shows all the moments that Einstein has been stalking him, which is a bit creepy and also a bit interesting. It seems that Einstein is manifesting in more areas, and one thing I can agree on is that Swag mentions that JPEGs are bad, which I 100% agree with.
Fascinating. I never suspected such things could be.
So, Swag decides to take one of the suggestions from a commenter on his previous video, which I assume he was referencing to Badwater. I'd say the ARG that started all of these Gmod ARGs. It's quite an interesting one, to where he could probably use force to control this rogue Einstein model, which seems to originally work on the ragdoll model, but when he attempts to do it on the NPC variant, he gets teleported in a room suggesting that he angered Einstein, which is a very creepy type of room, and it seemed like that he really angered Einstein, and that the player in this instant, unlike how in that Badwater ARG the player controls ragdolls, in this instance, it seems that Einstein has all the power, and with that, the video ends. One very interesting thing about this is how the ragdoll version of this rogue model doesn't seem to be possessed, to say, and that mostly is the NPC or player model variants, which is a very interesting thing.
Things could be.
So as of recording this is the final video of Swag's YouTube channel, and I think it's one of the most telling ones. The video starts off with Swag getting back to the mysterious area within GM Construct and starts doing side-by-side comparisons on previous videos he's uploaded, where he visits the past locations to what it seems a gruesome aftermath towards his character, and it definitely brings questions where if Einstein actually kills the player or has the abilities of building in Gmod just like any other player, and he uses this as a scare tactic. But however, this also could bring the new idea that Einstein could truly be something else, which I will explain in the conclusion of the video. It's a bit of a long theory I have. Also, it seems that the fenced area on the first GM Construct video is busted open, which looks like the aftermath of that chase sequence that happened before. And as we can see, there's a weird, mysterious, barricaded, irradiated door that's sealed behind a wall, basically, that Swag isn't managed to access, which is very interesting and brings in a lot of questions. And as a final note, one very interesting thing is if we zoom into the console error message before Swag gets interrupted in the video, it says error AI monster scientist, which is very interesting, and I'll get into that in the conclusion of my video.
I, Grey Man, am the rightful owner and CEO of Manco, the company you're working for. You all work for me now. Well, it's sort of a gray area. Get it? Gray area? Oh, that's funny. Get out of my property, or my mercenaries will force you out!
Run, cowards! Let's have a go at it!
Let's waste them!
Charge now, Doctor!
Jawohl!
I am bulletproof! I take over! That's almighty now, tiny child! All of you are babies!
Okay, guys. So for my conclusion, I have a lot of things to say, and for the sake of understanding these theories and whatnot, I will separate them into some sections. Okay, so on this part on what Einstein could be is a bit more of a technical theory of mine. Since it's a video game, so my thoughts are that Einstein could be a type of corrupt / rogue AI that has decided to take on a very big grudge towards Swag. The reason behind this is that out of all the models that Swag has used before in his videos, The only model to what it seems that is constantly affected is the Einstein model. And remember when I mentioned in the first video to keep in mind when Einstein is a player model or in an NPC form? Well, it seems that most of the time when Einstein manifests his powers, it is when he is in that type of form, rather than being a ragdoll. Basically, from what it seems, Einstein needs something in the game code in Garry's mod script that could possibly give him movability or some type of interface to work with. Another example is when Swag does the remover suggestion and manages to remove the ragdoll Einstein, but when he spawns the NPC variant, he gets teleported to the bloody room where Einstein is not too happy with him attempting to remove him. Which also is a very interesting thing at the end of Swag's latest video, the error message in the console that states error AI monster scientist. This could be one of the moments where Einstein kills the player, but this time Swag captures a glimpse of what happens behind the scenes, that the game recognizes Einstein as an AI, which brings a bit of validity to my rogue AI theory to say. Another thing that may confirm this theory is how after Swag encountered Einstein in the first video, it started manifesting in more and more places like a virus. And that first video isn't purely his first encounter. In the description, he says that he's encountered this on 2 separate occasions, where he even makes a whole collage of images showing all the moments Einstein has been watching over him. Now, we don't know if these images are before or after, but it is a bit telling of how Einstein manages to show up all around him, and especially at that moment with the trebuchet where Einstein jump scares Swag. One big obvious thing is that Einstein also has an understanding of his surroundings and a general intelligence when it comes to countering Swag and his attempts to control Einstein. Almost like when AIs learn new things in trial and error, for example, all the times that Einstein has figured out ways to catch up to Swag, but there is still that one mysterious scene on part 2 of GM Construct's secret room where Swag managed to escape that area. This also could be a situation where Einstein is a very observant AI that first he observes, then he attacks in the right moments. And at that situation, he could have been just playing with his food by letting Swag go intentionally. Well, one big thing we can point out is that during the Sky Radio incident, Einstein communicates to Swag that Swag made him that way. This could suggest that something very tragic happened to Einstein that Swag intentionally or unintentionally did to him. One theory that I have is from Einstein creating that whole section in GM Construct with a bloody PC room, TV room, and the apartment. I think it may suggest that Einstein had some type of normal life in the virtual world of Gmod, but the player came in and took it away from him. And in the part where Swag shows the broken fenced area in GM Construct, that may represent that Einstein has broken from his virtual imprisonment and is able to do all sorts of things to the player, like as I mentioned before, from what it looks like on him stalking the player or any other type of incidents that he has caused Swag to endure. Now, my alternate theory to this is that Einstein may just be tormenting Swag as a form of revenge for mistreating him while being a ragdoll or any other type of form. And all the rooms are real-life counterparts to what Swag has in real life. The big indicator could be that bloody PC room that we saw on the first GM Construct video. And the other rooms with the apartment and whatnot could indicate Swag's own apartment. But then again, we can't really pinpoint what Einstein's exact motives are because it's too early in the ARG and we honestly don't know exactly how Swag's been treating him. Well, my theory for this is that Einstein manifested in a really early stage due to the fact that in Swag's first video he mentions in the description that this has happened to him on 2 separate occasions. So until we know what those 2 other occasions are, we can only speculate. Now, on Einstein being located, I think it strongly suggests that radioactive room that was barricaded. It's definitely very odd that it's blocked off with an inaccessible wall, has radiation, and is barricaded by all sorts of things. I think that on season 2 of this ARG a lot of videos will be centered around that area and that we may find what's behind it. But my theory on that is that I think it may be the main area Einstein operates in or something that caused him to become that way. Currently, to my knowledge, there isn't any evidence that indicates if Swag has done anything good or bad towards Einstein. The only thing that may indicate something bad is the Morse code from the Sky Radio, but then again, we can't know for sure since it may also be a situation where Swag accidentally did something to Einstein without knowing that made him that way. But if I were to determine my own educated assumption based off on how Swag acts in his videos, that Swag for the most part is confused and curious in the videos. I haven't indicated any parts that could lead towards him as a bad character in this ARG, so I can assume that Swag could have done something to Einstein without knowing, as in unintentionally harming him or anything like that, and Einstein in an act of revenge has decided to permanently torment Swag. I honestly like the ARG and I enjoy this narrative of one Gmod character going rogue and after the player without the player knowing for what reason. Most ARGs is globally a certain group of characters are with or against the player. The only thing that's similar to this narrative is that the creator may be going for some type of a Joker type of narrative where certain circumstances happened to Einstein that made him this way, or Swag unintentionally harmed him and possibly ticked him off. Also, it gave me pretty good spooks is just the combined Gmod ambience that brings that old feel where a side character that's unimportant in a video game would turn on you. Generally, it's very thrilling and I'm hoping Swag creates more videos so we can understand a bit more regarding the past encounters with this character. And some experiments that may test the boundaries on Einstein and possibly maybe we'll get an answer to that radioactive room. Since Swag mentioned on his last video what suggestions the viewers may have for upcoming videos, these are some of my suggestions, and Swag, if you're watching this, they're kinda interesting and hopefully you'll give them a shot. Alright, for my first suggestion, is it possible if you could use the No Collide World add-on and create a type of camera on a pole system where it can extend outside of the boundaries in the secret room in GM construct, and as well if you could peek inside of the radioactive room with that technique. Okay, my second suggestion is if Einstein keeps attacking the player or the player model that you are able to use, why not try using next bots with the control NPC option and use that to investigate the secret room without Einstein possibly killing you or interfering with you. Suggestion 3. Can you enable different game modes, for example TTT, murder, prop hunt, and see how Einstein reacts to that? For my 4th suggestion, can you make some type of contraption with wire mod that lets Einstein type on a screen and create a message? I think that'd be really helpful to understand Einstein more. And for my 5th and final suggestion, this one is a little bit of a meme suggestion, a joke suggestion to say, but I don't think it would hurt to try it out. Just for the pure fun of it, can you try using the M9K special weapons pack and see if the RPG nuke affects Einstein or that secret room that he has? Maybe it'll open the irradiated door, who knows? Hi guys, thank you so much for watching this video. It took me quite a while to make the cinematics, to figure out the theories, and generally just edit the video, since it's my first time making this. And if you want to support me, just like the video, subscribe, and check out the Patreon, because it will definitely give me a lot more motivation to continue this type of work. So thank you very much guys for watching this video.
Yeah, so